Hey, my name is Rajesh. I'm a direct lender based in Los Angeles, and today we'll be looking at how to turn $444,000 into $15 million over 30 years by analyzing this building at 261-265 Whitmer Street in Los Angeles. So let's get into it. Here's a 7 unit for $1.15 million. And it says access denied. Let's see if that one works again. There we go. So we are going to try and figure out the cap rate. Well, not figure out the cap rate, figure out the NOI as well as gross rents. So here we have a 10 gross rent multiplier, which is pretty, I guess, good. We'll figure that out as we go along. Price per unit, so there might be some upside turning these into condos as well. And there are a total of 7 units. I'm wondering if they tell us if they just tell us what the NOI is. It does not. So we're going to have to do some math and figure this out for ourselves. So let's get out the calculator. So first things first, NOI. NOI is equal to price times cap rate. NOI is equal to what's the price here? 1.15. And whenever you see a multifamily building selling for the price of a 4 unit, you should wonder what's wrong with it, because this is the price of a 4 unit building. I like what it says here. Owner has the opportunity to convert and expand garages into ADUs, so you can add more units there, which is pretty awesome. You can go up to 13 units by right without a need to get a permit, and 20 units with the density bonus. So this is a really sweet deal, but we're just going to focus on the cash flow here. Let's see here, and 5.87%, I believe. Yeah, 5.87%. NOI is equal to, let's see here, 1150 times 5.87% is equal to 67,505. And now you know why the price is so low, because tenants are way below market. So let's try the gross rent multiplier here, and GRM formula, gross rent multiplier. Let's see what DuckDuckGo's formula comes back. GRM is equal to price divided by gross rental income. So let's see here. GRM is equal to price divided by, price gross rents. And this is on an annual basis, so let's swap these two, because you're going to multiply here and then divide by this. So we can just think of that as swapping places. So gross rents is equal to price over GRM. Gross rents is equal to 1.125 million over, and they said 10.05, I believe. Yeah, 10.05. And if you can't see it, it's behind my head there, right there. 05 gross rents are equal to 1,125,123 divided by 10.05. So gross rents are 111,940, which is kind of hard to believe because how is operating income so high? What is the vacancy rate here? And it does not have that information. So let's see here. What does it say? So it's got 6 garages, which you can convert to ADUs. So that gives you your 13 units. And then you can build 7 more with the density bonus. Let's see where you could build those 7 extra units exactly. This looks like a 2-story structure already, so you'd have to build it on top of the garages, I'm guessing. No, this is a 1-story structure, so they're saying rip the roofs off and then build 7 units on top of each of the existing 7 units. That's my guess. How much would it cost to convert the garages into ADUs? Since you're not building up anything from scratch, it's more considered a remodel. I'd guess about, let's say 75 to 100,000 per unit. So 6 garages into studios, right? Times 75K each to turn them into studios. So 6 times 75,000 is 450,000. To get 6 studios, right? You're also going to have to do meters and all that stuff, but let's say worst case scenario, it costs you $650,000. Okay, so that's a little over 650,000 divided by 6 is equal to 108,000 per unit, which is cheaper than building an ADU from scratch, which would be roughly $150,000 per unit. So this is not a bad guess. So 650,000 total, and let's say you get financing for that. Okay, so first we're going to look at the buy here. 1,125, 123, 7 units, 0 unoccupied. Let's see what the gross rents are on a monthly basis. Divided by 12 is equal to 111,940 divided by 12. You get 93.28 per month. 93.28. Okay, and now property taxes, water. We know that. Let's see here. What is the 67,505 divided by 12 is equal to 67,505 divided by 12 is 56.25 per month. Operating income. So this is about $500 short here. So let's see here. What if we go 433, 5610, 56.25. So gotta add take off just a little bit more here, $15 from there, so 18, maybe 418 a month on maintenance. Everything else adds up there. Let's see what the best way to get this property is. We would need 1.115 there, and now we can do a 26% down, not quite 25% down, but a 26% down. Let's see what the 5-year CMT is today. 5-year CMT. $3.691 plus 2.25. Whoops. 3.691 plus 2.25, 5.94. $1.15. So you had to put 27% down just to buy this with the normal agency loan, but you'd be cash flowing $733. That's because they figure out they use a net DSCR ratio. So what they're doing is taking the net operating income and dividing it by the P&I payments, the monthly payments over here. Let's see with the DSCR loan. With the 1.1, and you can see the difference between these is about 32,000. So it may not even be worth it going with the DSCR loan, even though you could. You can get likely a 5.875% with the buy down, and get your interest rate to 1.37, and your cash flow. Oops, let's see here, 1.15. 733 versus 644. This is 5.875. This is 5.940. Your monthly payment on this is $49.91. On the DSCR loan, on the agency loan, it's $48.92. Your down payment is about $30,000 less. And yes, you had to buy that interest rate down, but really what you're going to do is get the seller credits to pay for it. I would guess it would cost about 5 points today. So you would probably have to put down 5 points on 1.125. Let's see here, 1.125, 123 minus this down payment, which is 281,250. 281,250. That's 843,000 times 0.05. So you're going to have to put down $42,000, which is this is $32,000 difference. The difference is that you can use that $42,000. You can get that $42,000 directly from the seller, and so now you have a slightly less interest rate over here. But why would you do that when your monthly payment is higher? That's because you save $30,000 on the down payment. Your cash flow is roughly $100 a month difference, $99 to be exact. No, wait, yeah, $99 to be exact. So let's go ahead and see what this looks like here over 30 years. Gotta update the link there. I mean, none of this changes the calculator. It doesn't like pull the data automatically. I just like to keep it organized. Let's see. We're using, what are we using for property management? 746, so that's 8%. We're using zero vacancy in this calculator. Down payment we said was, we're going with the DSCR loan here, right? Yeah, to save that $30,000 on the down payment. So we're going $30,000, 5.875. And on both of these, if you go interest only, you can double your cash flow, more than double it in the case of the DSCR loan. But you know, Los Angeles, you want equity. Rehab loan amount. So we're putting in $650,000. This part would be interest only. You'd have about 12 months to do the job. Let's say 18 months. And closing cost 3.5% roughly. Prepaid months. So now we have to figure out google.com average inflation or price appreciation for the area. Average property appreciation rate. And what's the zip code here? 90026. 90026 past 30 years and 90026. So this is recent trends. 7.2 versus 8.6. So I want to go 1996 to 2026. Why isn't Gemini pulling this up here? Well, this thing doesn't seem to want Gemini just doesn't seem to want to pull this information up for me. Show more. Alright, so they're saying 7.21. That's what I'm going to go with. And let's see, rental inflation and same area over same time period. Four to 5% annually. National is 3.19. So let's say 4.5. And now we're also doing the rehab loan to build 13 units. So we're gonna have to do the math trickily here. So we're gonna say 1,300, right? And we're saying what's the average rent per unit? So this is 5,625 per month. 5,625 divided by 7. So that's saying 803 per month per unit. So if we go 13 and we punch in the same numbers right there, 803, let's see if it becomes worth it. Oh, here's a problem. Our DSCR ratio is not checking out. Projected ARV price. So what would a $1.125 million building be worth if it had 13 units and it had 803 with the same exact cap rate, right? So now we want to invert this. So here's how we can do that. So if NOI is equal to price times cap rate, then price is equal to NOI divided by cap rate. So this is equal to, let's say NOI is 803 times 13. And by the way, this I entered this wrong over here, so I entered the NOI number here. So what we're going to do is update this and use this. This is 9,328 divided by 7. That's 1332 per month. And now our DSCR ratios check out to what it was. But yeah, we're going to use 803 as the monthly baseline. 803 times 13 for the NOI. That gives us $10,439 divided by a 5.87% cap rate. That does not make sense. So let's see here. 803 times 13 is 1049 divided by 0.0587. That gives us, that's still not right. So yeah, NOI divided by cap rate, that's what it should be. So why is this not working? 803 times 13, we have 13 units, that's 10,439 divided by, oh, I'm using the monthly, I got to multiply that by 12 times 12 is 125 268 over 5.87%. And so what does that give us? Divided by 0.0587, 2134037. So this is the rough new price of the new building. So we can punch that into our projected ARV here. 2134037. So now that we have our new price, we can see what we walk away with in 30 years. 7 units, so hazard insurance is probably going to be 13 times 1100 times 13. That's 14,300 for the insurance. Good thing is that property taxes don't get readjusted. At least I don't believe they do. Let's see what we were going for in terms of operating expenses. So we're looking at $65 a month on water. Looking at gas at $20 a month. Electric is $80. Trash is $250. That might actually go up. Let's say it goes up to $500, it doubles. Property management is $746. So this might be a little bit high over there. So let's see here. Let's say 4%. Well, no, that would be double over there because you are having twice the units now, twice the rents. So let's see here. As far as maintenance, we're saying 418. So let's see here. And we're going to keep it proportional because some of these are percentage based. The more tenants you have, the more maintenance you're going to need. The important thing is the percentages. This was based on 10% originally, and I lowered it to 5. or a half. So let's see here, what else is there? Pest control 180, let's say 300, economies of scale. When you have a pest control guy, they're just charging by the trip, they're not charging by the unit. So let's say 250 per month. Advertising will not go up. Lawn and snow, that's included in the maintenance, so I'm going to leave that at 0. And let's say legal is 120 right over there, so that's probably going to double. And let's see what our net operating income looks like here. It is 141,076. I was trying to go for 806. I was trying to go for 125. So let's see, let's keep it at that 125, okay? So how can we get there? What if I take pest control up to 300? Trash removal, no. Legal, let's say from there we go 360. Gas, and we double everything else, okay? So 40 for gas, 130 for water, 160 for electric. Now we're down to 138 NOI. Let's say 360 for pest control even. That's still not enough. Hazard insurance is probably not enough. Let's see what maintenance costs. Let's see if we double maintenance. Now we're at 127. Now we're in the right range. Property management, let's say 400, or let's say 500 a month, 6,000 a year. There we go. That's probably a little bit too much for legal. No, this was wrong. That 500. Let's say 80 there. Alright, let's go ahead and add lawn and snow on there. Let's take a look if this even has a lawn. Yeah, it does have lawn, it does have trees, needs some gardening and stuff. So let's say that costs maybe another 100 a month. There we go. Now we're at 125,446. And here we were at 125,268, and we're at 125,446, which is pretty close. First year you're gonna lose about $1,000. Second year you make $3,000, 3,100 for the whole year in terms of cash flow. Every year after that you're cash flowing, which is awesome. Your net income, you have write-offs until your 20th year, but the important thing, as regular viewers of my channel know, is that I like looking at the exit here. So we look at the exit here and we see that when we do this, we get 80 our very first year, if we were to just buy it, fix it up and sell it, we'd walk away with $82,000. But if we did it our second year, at the end of the second year, we walk away with $120,000. But at the end of the 30th year, we walk away with $15 million. And the way we do that is we take all the cash flow, we put it in a non-bearing interest account, and we just let it sit. Every single dollar that you get as cash flow, as profit, you put it in a bank account with zero interest, and you just let it sit, and that adds up to about 3.67 million, 3.7 million over the entire 30 years. And you don't touch it, you just let it sit there, and you let the building appreciate and run itself, and you walk away with $15 million at the end of that, assuming you sell. So and that's a return on an initial investment of $281,000. Now you're also having to, and you get the $650,000 loan amount for the fix-up costs at 650 times 0.25. So So that's $162,000 plus the 281,250. So for a $443,000 investment, let's just say $444,000 investment, you walk away with $15 million. And here's your cash on cash return. This is almost 41x your money. This is where the real wealth is made. The video I did yesterday had a 23x return on money on your original investment. This is a 41x, and this is if you just go up to the 13 unit building. You don't go up to 20 units because you just don't want to deal with the hassle of dealing with the city. You just want to do it by right without having to get all their city approval and stuff like that. So with the density bonus, so you can do it, absolutely worth it, I think, worth the hassle. But if you don't want to do it and you just want to keep it simple, you're walking away with 40x your money or 41x your money at the end of 30 years. This is a really good investment. Let's see what that is as CAGR, right? So let's go to ChatGPT. CAGR formula applied to yearly appreciation over 30 years. (13.2% per year). So you're getting a 13.2% return on your money with 261 to 265 Whitmer Street in Los Angeles. This is a winner in my book. It does not tell you what class of buildings this is, but you could also turn this into condos and get a really good deal and get a quicker return on your money, probably in the 200 to 300% range. I'm guessing if you were to turn into condos, that is, not just add the units and rent them out. So let's see what condos go for in the zip code. Zillow.com 90026. For sale. These are all condos. So here's what a condo goes for: 549, 449, 649, 629, 629. These are the cheap condos right there, right? So you're buying each condo literally for 164, 165, and then turn them into condos, and you can sell them, you can flip them for 4x, 600,000 per unit fairly easily. And yeah, these are 4 beds, 4 baths. And how much are these? There's 5 1 bed, 1 bath. There's 1 studio. There's 1 2 bed, 1 bath. So let's say even if you sell them for 500,000 per unit, you just remodel them, sell them for 500,000 each, you're golden. I mean, you can make a lot of money on this building. This is a very good deal. And if you're watching this and looking for a place to invest in right now in Los Angeles, I would suggest this building.